Hello, 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 hello. For those of you who are new to this platform or to my channel or to the content, depending on which one it is, I want to say welcome, welcome in. You are tuning in to Life Discussions with Dr. Jefferson, and I am Dr. Jefferson. So today, I had this morning a subscriber sent me a video of Tasha K. And for those of you that don't know, I listen to Tasha K because I think everybody likes a little gossip every once in a while. I live vicariously sometimes through some of these content creators on YouTube and other platforms because they sometimes are able to say and explore the things that we can't say or explore as psychotherapists because we're professionals and we're held to a bit of a higher standard when it comes to the content that we release, right? So, I'm going to play just a little bit of this video really quick for you, and then I'll jump back in on the back end. How about that? Also, as you guys come in, don't forget to like and share, do your part. Make sure that we are sharing the content so that we can have a collaborative conversation about this. And a collaborative conversation about rape culture, victim shaming, what that really is versus what most people perceive it to be when they are triggered. Because I'm going to talk a little bit about that as well. So, yeah, and let me know that you're watching out there. I'm trying to find this video really quick. Now, mind you, on this video, Tasha K is asking for her following's advice, and the content that we're going to discuss has not been released publicly just yet. It's only on her private platform where she can control the content and what's actually being released about this alleged rape crime. So let me go ahead and play this.
Instead, she decided to go off and talk to him and stuff like that. And she wound up in the bathroom. And when she got in the bathroom, she said she was using the bathroom and she thought she locked the door. And she said when she locked the door, she said she realized he just walked in and said, "Oh, I gotta use the bathroom." She's like, "Oh my God, excuse me, right?" And so when she said, "I'm gonna give you your privacy," so she continued to wash her hands. And then when she turned around to go out, she said that he was standing right there with his pants down. And I have to say allegedly because I was not there. And I said allegedly with all the girls because I was not there. How somebody interprets rape or sexual assault, that's their experience.
Also, just to kind of let you guys know, I did start this around 6 minutes and 16 seconds of the actual video playing on the YouTube. So the story, just to kind of give you a little bit of background, this is a young lady. She's a young white female at a party with other people. And this young lady is in a bathroom where she thought that she locked the door to come in to use the restroom. And then a male comes up behind her while she's in there doing something. And that's what Tasha K is now explaining. So I'll go ahead and I'll pop out and let you guys finish listening to the video.
experience. Okay, so that's number one. I'm putting that out there. So I was not there. However, I had questions about what went down when she was there, and I think any natural person would have had questions because of the receipts that I received. It was kind of like, well, who does this? And I'm gonna put the receipts on Patreon too, so y'all can see it. Okay, and it was the reason why I asked the question that I asked. Now, Jasmine said I brought it back home at the end, but during the middle of it, the girl started crying. You know what I'm saying? She was like, wait a minute, you know. So long story short, he's right there. He apparently has his pants down to his ankles. His dick is out. And I'm not gonna put it out tonight. I'll let y'all know when I put it out. I'll come back. But and he has a condom on. And so she was like, oh my God, like, I don't know about this. I don't know about this. And he was like, according to her, shh, quiet, quiet, quiet. She was in a loud house. Everybody was in the house. And, so instead she's thinking flight or flight is what she's saying. What should I do? And so instead of her trying to push him off, instead of her trying to say no, instead of her trying to be aggressive, she decides to get on one knee, and she thought that I would give him head with the condom on so that he won't fuck me. That's what she said. She said, so I thought me giving him head with the condom on would keep him from fucking me. Maybe I can make him calm with the condom on. So I just, put it in the back of my head, and I was like, okay. All right. So she continues to talk. And so when she was done with the story, she said, she just when he she was when he she went down on her knee to give him head. He said, no, I don't want head. He said, no, 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 no. So he picked her up and turned her around, leaned her over the sink, and he proceeded, according to her, to penetrate her and told her to look in the mirror and y'all crazy, and told her to look in the mirror because he wanted to see, like, I guess her pretty face or something like that. And she's like, I'm gonna remember this for the rest of my life. She remembered, like, there was broken pieces on the mirror. And so when he was done, she got her stuff. She said he ripped her clothes, and she told her friend, the friend that told her to stay away from him, to let's go. So she leaves, right? And so you gotta understand the receipts that I'm giving. I'm like, so she was like, they took somebody else's Uber. And I'm like, well, did you call the police? She said, no. I'm like, did you file a civil suit? She said, no. I said, it's okay. Maybe you got a leg up in this because you're not going after money. But she said the Jane Doe that came out gave her the push to want to talk about it. It happened back in 2018. So when I came back with my questions based off the receipts that I was given, she didn't like that, and it made her emotional. She was just like, I'm not doing this for clout. I'm not doing this for that. I can care less. I just want people to know the truth. There are other survivors. There are other survivors, right? And so I was just like, but if you say you're in a moment in a bathroom and a man that you just met 30 minutes ago walks in calmly, says he's gonna use the bathroom, you turn around, you for some reason are still there while he's peeing, and when you get ready to walk out, he has you say pinned against the wall. He didn't put hands on her, he just kind of got close to her, and has his dick out. And instead of you saying or doing, she said, there was people in the house, there was but where the door was, it was by the front door, but they were deep in the house, right? So she says, she just in her mind said, well, let me do this so it won't do this. But I'm just like, well, oral sex is the same as regular sex, right? So I'm just like, you do know, like, when you come out with that and you did not call the police, and there's a video of you filming, I don't know who's filming you, jump over a gate. Literally, if you see the video, I'm afraid to put this video out because it will be a meme. Like, it's a white girl jumping over the gate. I said they're going to have questions because I've never been raped, but I have been sexually assaulted. I have been molested, right? Molested. I had nothing. I couldn't. I was weak in them. I was 5 years old. So that's a different scenario. Sexually assaulted. Somebody comes out, they pull out their dick. Shit like that. That has happened in Panama City plenty of times by some nasty ass motherfucking dudes, right? They see a young girl, they probably 18, 19, they just pull out their dick. So I've seen it happen. But what I did in the moment as a 12-year-old girl, when I remember walking home from the store at from the junior store in Panama City, my mom had sent me to go get her some cigarettes. You know, back then you could buy some cigarettes. And so I went to get her some cigarettes. And as I was walking home, there was a guy that I had known from the neighborhood that was 22 years old, was sitting on the porch. I was 12 years old. And he said, "Hey, come here." So I stepped into the yard. I'm thinking maybe I don't know why he was calling me. And he was like, "You want to come inside?" And I was like, "No." And then he was like, he literally pulled out his dick in the middle of daylight, like during the day, and was like, "Come inside." And he started rubbing his dick, right? And I was like, I'm 12 years old. This nigga was tall. He was huge. He was a big nigga. I was like, I'm good. And I got the fuck on. Okay. I got the fuck on, went to my house. Now, granted, I never tell my mama because I didn't want my mama to think that then they called you fast. Well, what the fuck was you doing around there? Well, shit, I had to pass his house. I just ain't want to answer all them questions. But I got the fuck from around there, right? So, and that always stuck with me because I'm like, because I used to see him and his grown girlfriend walking in the neighborhood, but for him to just do that, it was just like, oh, wow, what the fuck? No. And that was at the time I had never seen a dick before. So that was shocking too, because I'm like, you just pulling out your dick, rubbing your dick in the middle of the porch. Somebody can like drive past here. When you get over, you have questions. So my thing is like, I'm thinking if you're in the bathroom and somebody comes behind you and you say his power and his status kept you from saying or pushing this motherfucker off, I have questions because I'm thinking. And I said to her, and they didn't like that. They said, "Why did you say she negotiated her body?" I said, "Well, that was the first thing that came to my mind. So you negotiated with him." She's like, "I didn't negotiate. I didn't negotiate." And I was just like, you didn't push him off of you. You didn't scream. I'm sure somebody would have came to you and be like, "What the fuck going on?" She in there screaming. And then she proceeds to say, "Well, I was drunk." But this was like later in the interview. And I'm like, so you left that part out. She was like, "Well, can we leave out the part of me saying, because it's embarrassing and I work in corporate America, that I was willing to get down and on my knee and give him oral sex to keep him from fucking me? I would rather you honestly fuck me with a condom on than put your shit in my mouth." That's me personally, okay? And so she was pissed. So was my people, my team, and my partners, because they said that I was insensitive because you don't know what a woman will do in a situation like that. But my thing is, I have never seen in my life, unless they got a gun to my head and be like, "Yo, you gonna fucking do this," but I've never been in the shoes, so I can't really say that. But me, I probably still fight your ass if you got a gun to my head. I'm not gonna get no. So my thing is, there was no gun. She just said it was the intimidation, the power, but she had just met him 30 minutes ago prior. So I'm like, I don't think this is good for you, because if you want me to leave out the part that kind of says that you was willing to do one thing but not another thing, and there was really no clarity on you not wanting to do either, and you decided after that it was rape, like it's kind of hard, it's tricky. And my thing was, I'm like, and you got to understand, you guys are racially ambiguous women. You're a Caucasian woman. So I have questions. And the other two women, I had no concerns with their story. But this one, they felt because she was white that I came in with a preconceived notion that she was lying. But here's the thing. If you see the video that she sent me as a receipt, I said, "Well, who made this video? If you're running away and you grab your friend to run away and you're jumping a gate, right? And you're jumping a gate, who stops to film you jumping a gate? And it looks like a drunk white girl jumping a gate, falling over a gate." And then she sends me a picture of the dress, which the zipper was broken. And I'm just like, I don't know. She was like, "Well, so they felt like I was insensitive to her." And I'm just like, I just asked questions because I remember I can't remember her name. It was an African lady, right, who accused the head of the World Bank of raping her. She said that she came into the room to clean and he sat her down and put his hands on her shoulder aggressively, and his old ass, now this is an old motherfucker, fucked her in the mouth. okay, and until he came. And then she runs out, and she lets all the guards know, and then she proceeds to tell. Now, she did the right thing. However, like, she followed the steps. She went and told everybody. They got the police involved. They arrested the guy. The reason he wasn't convicted, if you saw the actual interview, the documentary, I believe it's on Netflix, if I'm not mistaken. She said she lied about, because you gotta understand, people gotta they get to know your character, and this is why a lot of rape victims don't get justice, is because they're leaving out stuff. And I felt like if if they tell me to leave out that part but put out everything else, and then she's telling me to leave out that part, one, if French lawyers comes and says, hey, because at the same time I'm putting my platform on the line to advocate for y'all, but you want certain parts left out because you're embarrassed, but at the same time this is what happened, so you don't want certain things out because you're embarrassed and you felt like maybe I did fuck up in that situation and didn't do enough, because you're questioning yourself. But at the same time, but if you're gonna come forward, you got to come forward. But back to the leader of the World Bank, the reason the man got off was because they found out that old girl had lied on her application. You remember they used to have a lottery for like immigrants to come in if they came from like certain situations, so they would draw your name. So she lied and said on her application that she had been raped by child soldiers or soldiers in Africa, and that's why she needed to come over to the United States to work and have a better life, right? So, hold on for a second. Yes. So they were like, well, if you lied to come over here to have a better life and said that these men raped you in Africa, what makes us think you didn't know who he was prior to going in that room, and you came out with a plan to have a better life of getting him locked up and getting a little money, right? So she didn't like she didn't get no justice, because you got to understand, like, if you're gonna come forward, you have to put it all on the line. You can't have questionable things like that's not right to lie on people in Africa in your own country saying that they raped you so you could come over here, even though you may have had a justifiable situation saying I needed to get out of poverty. But it's the way you do it. And now all of a sudden, with there's no proof that I think there was no semen or anything like that, because you say that you ejaculated in your mouth. I don't know. I got to remember the specifics of that. And now you want people to believe that the leader of the World Bank, one of the richest man in the world, which he really wasn't that rich. I mean, but he appeared to be rich. He had a nice bag. You know what I'm saying? Raped you. And it's like, I don't know. So, the thing is, the reason I want to post it on YouTube, I said, listen, because we all have to make decisions here. I get it. I'm the talent. But I said, people come watch us because we are real. You know what I'm saying? And I have no problem, being ate up if I fuck up. That's a part of the learning process. Not every host is perfect, and I'm not going to play politically correct to impress because I'm afraid of losing. So I can't lose anything because I worked hard to build this. And so there may be some people that fall by the wayside. You know what I'm saying? Maybe some advertisers that doesn't want to be a part of it. But at the same time, if these, do you know how many women that do come forward that lie? So it's like, if your story is not adding up and the receipts that you send aren't supporting what you're saying, then I have to question that. Do you understand what I'm saying? So my thing is like, and they're like, well, she's a white woman. That's even worse, because as a white woman, it's imperative that your receipts line up, because historically, if we're gonna go along with history, black men have been pent up for less. Do you understand what I'm saying? They've been pent up for less, and my platform and my voice has always spoken and advocated for abused women and women who have gone through trauma. But for y'all to say that I was wrong for questioning her about the what she did in that situation and why she didn't file a police report and why she's sending me drunk videos of her hopping over the gate, like, who stopped? If you running and you're scared for your life, who stops to turn around and film you jumping over and fucking like on the gate? Like, what the hell? So my thing is, well, French Montana, he's Arab, so yeah, black. Okay, even though he's not light skinned, he's Arab, he's Middle Eastern, it's the same thing, damn near African. Okay. Matter of fact, he is African. But so I'm just saying, I don't give a fuck about no French Montana. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? What I care about is the truth and that people be held accountable for what they're doing. But here's the thing: the girls have similar stories. Okay, that it was a bathroom incident, and for some reason he's fixated on bathrooms. But my thing is like, just because there's been situations where girls who have ran into men and these men have tried them and they've agreed right then, and then later on they say, well, he used his power to make me to agree. So I'm looking at this as a learning lesson. Like, okay, I'm old school. Number one, I'm from the South. The first thing my grandmom would tell me, my mama would tell me, my aunt would tell me, what the fuck you had your ass around there for? If your friend told you to stay the fuck away from him, but you still carried your ass around there in that circle, you know what I'm saying? You ain't had no business around there. So my thing is, I feel like this is a learning lesson because she did, in some sense, agree. But then when she was done, she said, oh, his power, his influence. But then there's another girl that came forward and she's so little and she didn't even really have to fight. She had to, she had to fight him off, but it wasn't like he was like, okay, I'm all right, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? So he had to try another method with her, which is fucked up. If that happened, of course I believe the girls, but I have to say allegedly because I was not in the room. So, but with her, so we got 3 stories so far. 1 checks out. 2, I believe. 3, it's like I don't know. And just because you say it doesn't mean that it actually happened, because the receipts that she sent is not like actual receipts. It's like a picture of the dress. The zipper is like, it looks like it got snagged and it broke, them little cheap dresses. And then, I had to question the way she was dressed. She was dressed in a funeral dress for the interview. So you could tell like she wanted to appear to be like sad, because black signifies, you got to understand, when people like these publicists do these interviews, or these crisis publicists and stuff like that, these are things that they tell you to do. So she's like, I got a corporate job, I don't want people to know that I negotiated with him, that I would do this and in exchange for this, and so could you please leave that out? And I said, no, it all has to go out, because I can't cut out parts, because then it looks as if they can argue, if they were to file a lawsuit, maybe you did have some reservations. Well, why did you leave that out? Because you knew that people would question that, so there was a possibility that was a lie. And I'm not going to put my platform on the line for nobody. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not, like I said, I will put it out on Patreon as paid content, because they can't come after me in a lawsuit. But if I decide to go forward and put it on YouTube, then okay, it's game on, French. It's game on. So, because at the same time, like, I have a daughter, I'm a woman, I have sisters, I have nieces, nephews, and the more you expose these motherfuckers, the more they're gonna learn to, you know what I'm saying? Listen, there are consequences for this shit. So yeah, and about leaving it alone, I'm gonna be honest with you, I feel real passionate about it. And when I'm passionate about something and I have a lot of kickback, and I usually go with the people that say no, 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 I end up saying, you know what, I should have did.
So that's a lot, right? Um, Here's the thing. I've already referenced that Tasha K put this content out, and I'm going to go over here and copy her link and put it in the comment section. This way you guys will have adequate time to check out the full length of the video, because I hate the whole soundbite thing, that idea, that concept, because I sometimes feel like that doesn't give people the full scope of what it is that we're talking about, right? So I put a link to the video in the comments. Okay. So you guys can go back and watch it from the very beginning on your own. But we're going to talk about this. The first thing is accountability and responsibility are 2 different things. Okay. This is a lot. So rape culture is huge, and it's a tremendous issue, not only for females in America, but also for males in America, for females and males around any and everywhere. The reality is people are sometimes victimized or raped every single day And one of the things that I heard Tasha K say was that she was not raped, she was sexually assaulted. They're both synonymous. So my question to you guys is, what is your perception of rape versus a sexual encounter where you're willing or consent is an integral part of the encounter taking place? So a lot of people say that she victim shamed this young lady because she asked some very difficult questions. And in the comment section, once you guys have a chance to go back and look at that video in its entirety, you'll see a lot of the people who commented. They were like, oh, well, you should definitely have questioned these things. Doesn't matter. She's leaving things out. She's lying. Other people will say, well, if she's not ready to be honest and tell you everything and she's leaving things out, she's definitely not ready for court. It's a lot. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that Tasha K's perception of this situation and her asking these interview questions justify the allegations that she's victim shaming. I can't do that. But I will say there is a lot of bias that presents because as she's giving us her narrative, she's comparing this young lady's story to her own. And the one thing that separates support and curiosity in interviewing, when we talk about forensic interviewing, and comparison, right? Social comparison, which typically will mess the whole interview up, is the fact that somebody is there to really understand where you're coming from and what your experience was, okay? So it's not that I'm comparing the experience to myself, right? Lots of people have gone through situations where they were sexually assaulted in one way or another. For the young lady to ask her to leave certain things out about the encounter that she shared with Tasha K, I feel like it's her right to have whatever it is that she wants to be excluded as a result of her deciding to do this interview and have it released on a public platform or whatever platform at all. She has a right to do that. Do we have a right to say that she's lying or that she's not lying? Once she has decided to release this information out there, I feel like the public has every right to talk about whatever it is they see and give their opinions. It doesn't make their opinions, however, fact for her, and it doesn't remove whatever she went through, if that is rape or if it wasn't rape, right? Hey, Trey. I like to know, though, what you guys' perception of rape is, because a lot of time through the video where Tasha K was giving her narrative, she said there was no clear option opting out, and the young lady negotiated her body. And so I feel like we are a society that gets really sensitive about the language that's used, because sometimes the language can be offensive because it can go against, or we can perceive it to go against, our personal narrative. So if a young lady is coming to you and saying, I was raped, if you use the word like alleged, that creates a sense of doubt, right? As they're now narrating their story to you, they now feel like they have to convince you that it happened. The number one reason that women don't report rapes is because they're not sure that their character will render dependability of the allegation. And so there are a lot of layers. There are a lot of layers there. And the question came up if this is about the young lady being white and the accuser being black. I personally, you guys correct me after you've gone through and saw that video in its full entirety. I did not see Tasha K mention the race, culture, or ethnicity of the man involved. All I heard her say is that a man came in there. And it's possible that she did say it, but I wasn't there for that. So you guys let me know what you get from the video after you watch it, because I didn't hear her say what the race of the guy was. But there is a climate or a culture in Black America of us turning a blind eye to the atrocities that happen in our community. We do it every day when we say Black Lives Matter. And then we also live in neighborhoods where we kill each other. Yeah, the little boy next door shot the little boy down the street and murdered him, and nobody's saying Black Lives Matter. Nobody's going into those homes and having those conversations with those young men about better ways to mitigate their issues amongst each other and things like that. So I feel like we are a climate in America in general that okays some of these things that are not necessarily good for us. Is it possible that this is the same type of situation and Tasha K was being overly biased in her interviewing this young lady? I don't know. Maybe. She has some clear biases about her own exposure to sexual assault. She clearly said, if this were me and what I've done in the past when I was actually assaulted or raped, or, however you guys want to look at it, was XYZ, right? And so here is my thing. I'm a person that believes in calling a thing, but I feel like in this case, I can't say objectively that Tasha K was victim blaming. Oftentimes we feel like people are victim blaming us because they do, what do we call that? Playing the devil's advocate, right? They ask us questions that make us question our perceptions, right? And if they do that, they don't fully believe us because now they're asking us to prove to them that this thing that we're saying is true and to what extent this thing is true. And, those kinds of things can cause hostility amongst the people having those conversations. So there's just a lot here. The young lady mentioned that the young man came up behind her in the bathroom where she felt she had locked the door, and now all of a sudden the door was no longer locked. That's one separate component that raises a lot of questions around that piece. She said that she was inebriated. That's something separate. There is also the question of who recorded this event and for what purpose was a recording taking place inside of a bathroom where you said that you were sure you locked the door. So there are a lot of things that I feel like need answers, and a good interviewer is going to go down that rabbit hole and ask all of those questions because they are integral to understanding what happened, right? Because essentially when people do interviews with people who have been victimized in whatever way, it's really meant to be released so that a greater level of awareness can be out there, so that people can know what to look for, so that people have a greater idea of what this or that could possibly look like if they decided to move in a different way. The other piece that I have not put in one of these little question things is, do you guys feel that stories like this, where a person's at a party and apparently a party at somebody's house or whatever is going to be gender neutral, right? So do conversations like this make you reflect and think about what it would be like if we had bathrooms that weren't specific for one gender, but everybody could go to the same bathroom, whether they're male or female, and they can have that shared space together? So not like an individual bathroom, but a whole restroom facility where men and women are cohabitating. Co-facilitating, I guess, right? Using the facilities together interchangeably. Does these types of situations make you think, okay, that would definitely be a very bad idea? Because here it is, this guy comes in here, says he has to use the restroom. She's in the mirror or across from him in the restroom, and she turns around and this penis is exposed with a condom on before or after he uses the restroom. I mean, there are a lot of things here And I know, some people are going to have their opinions, and I'm here for the opinions, really. I feel like this, if not anything else, we should definitely have a discussion about, because at the end of the day, I feel like there is, especially in the wake of all of the things with the whole Black Lives Matters movements and protests and Black people's rights, and all of these things that have happened over the last year, I think that there is a large amount of people who will call a person a liar if they're white and they're making an allegation, probably, period, right? This is just a lot. They said this happened in 2018. This is 2021. This lady is now ready to talk about it. Some rape victims never talk about what happened to them. They don't. And when they do, they are limited on the details, because it is embarrassing. It is a shameful experience that happens. And that's one of the number one reasons they become upset when they're talking about it, because it's not like they feel in their hearts that they have to convince anybody of anything. But typically they're coming to a person because they either need help and protection from the rapist, or from the situation happening again, or from recurrent nightmares around the event in and of itself, or they're coming to tell you these things because they only need somebody to listen. That's it. That's it. So I would love to hear what you guys' thoughts are around this particular topic. If you came in on the later end of this video, go back and watch it from the very beginning, because I feel like it's definitely, it's one of those that is, I think, triggering for those people who have experienced a rape. It's definitely going to be triggering. It's going to be triggering for people who have family members, intimate partners that have experienced being sexually assaulted. I think the most important part, should I say, of this is going to be this. Tasha K said in her video, there was no clear time when this girl wanted out because she negotiated her body. This young lady said that, well, if I make him come by sucking his penis with a condom on, he won't fuck me. That was the language used. Oral sex and penetrational sex are synonymous when we're talking about sexual assault. Her willingness in that moment does not mean that she was not sexually assaulted, period. Just because a person is willing to do something doesn't mean that they are in agreement or they're consenting. The young lady mentioned that she was under the influence. However, she has a really vivid memory of this because obviously this traumatized her. Maybe it sobered her up. But there are times when you're put in very, very difficult situations, when someone is going to kill you, when they have a gun pointed at your head, right? You're willing to do a lot of things to save your life, but it doesn't mean that you're not assaulted. It doesn't mean that you're not raped, if that's what comes of it. It means that you're forced to do those things under pressure, right? It's just a lot there, okay? There is a lot there, and I do have a lot of, admiration for Tasha K's platform, because she does bring very difficult things to the forefront. This is one that I have definitely got to disagree with her positioning on, because you interviewed a victim of a heinous crime, and whether you know it happened or not, there are ways to do that in a sensitive manner, right? So that's all I got. Hope that you guys are well and your day ends wonderfully and you enter into your weekend in a celebratory mood. Hope this didn't put you in a downer. So like and share the content, and let me know what your thoughts are. Later days.